Okay. So as you ask, what is the use of break and
Right.
continue, right?
Yeah, exactly.
So let's say example. We are running loop like for
Mm-hmm.
int I equal to 0, I
Mm-hmm.
less than let's 10,
Mm-hmm.
I plus plus. Okay.
Right.
So by default, this statement check I am whatever written inside this block, they are
Mm.
going to print 10 times. Let's guess out. I am just printing
I, yeah, I
I.
is
Okay.
equal to, yeah,
I
0 to 9 times.
9.
Mm-hmm.
So what by default nature ki this condition until true,
Right.
this line going to execute it. Okay.
Right.
But let I don't want this loop run 10 times. I
Mm-hmm.
want this only loop run 5 times
Huh.
or 6 times or
Uh-huh.
some random number.
Right.
Okay.
Right.
Maybe sometime 3 times, sometime 2 times, right?
Huh.
So let me, I have a one class random number.
Mm-hmm.
Random number. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Random. Random. And say random number. Give me any random number.
Like
Next.
five,
Huh.
5, 8, 3, 2.
Next. Next int. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
I want to this random number between boundary, maybe between 1 to 10. Let's. Okay.
Acha.
1 to 10. Okay.
Huh.
And let's this is the random.
Mm-hmm.
So let's print.
Right.
So you observe this is the one utility class. They give me any random number between to 1 to 10. Okay.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So this is by default. They come sometime 6, sometime 8, sometime 4, sometime 2, sometime 9. Right?
There is a repetitive, just the same number it
Yeah.
is going to be repeated.
Yes. Might. Yes.
Okay.
Repeat it. Random any number they can generate. Okay.
Okay. Okay.
So let I'm decide whenever our random number come like 6, okay, yeah, 2, we have to
Mm-hmm.
stop this loop. Let us be
Okay.
decided. So
Okay.
I say ki if our random number, let's greater than 4, okay,
Acha. Acha. Acha.
yeah, greater than 5, let's.
Okay.
Whenever our random number greater than 5, I want to break this loop,
Oh, I see. Okay.
right? So what's the
Mm-hmm.
logic here? Until we are not getting random number 5 or greater than 5, let's we get like here like
When you get the
4,
6, then it's going
6.
to stop. Yeah.
In this way, our loop always run. This is the inside loop. Okay,
Right.
inside loop. In inside a loop. Okay, and
Mm-hmm.
here we are outside of loop.
Right.
Out the loop. Okay?
Mm-hmm. Inside the loop means which one? Just like the for one, right?
Yeah,
And outside of the loop is if,
this is
right?
the our loop. This is the loop. Okay,
Yeah.
this
Yeah.
is
This
started loop from here to this is the loop code, right?
right.
We are running in the loop, right? This is the loop code.
Mm-hmm.
But I want by default if this is not a break, that if this is not break, this I am not apply break. That
Mm-hmm.
means they always print the 10 value, 1 to 10, right?
Right.
They are always printing. Okay,
Yeah.
but
If I said break.
I sometime out if let's get condition some random number, right? Let's that
Mm-hmm.
random number whenever we get from the greater than 7, let's see right now.
Okay.
At
Then
that time we are going to break this loop, means after that I don't want to run this again loop.
right.
I just and let me also print uh so this value somehow print the top so that we aware ki what is the value, right here.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, and this is I'm going to Check the condition until true or false, right? Currently, we have not any break, right? We are
Mm.
commented code. So till
Right.
now, still our loop always run 10 times, right?
Right. Still 10 times. Yeah.
Always they are running 10 times, 0 to
Right.
10.
10.
And then we are going to outside of loop, right?
Right.
Let's key I and notice this condition. Sometime false, 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 sometime true, right?
Mm-hmm.
Sometime false, true, true, true. So whenever we reach this true, after that
Mm-hmm.
this code is not going to execute because we are going to outside of loop.
Right. Exactly.
So let's I apply the break condition here.
Mm-hmm.
Break condition say कि whenever our random number is greater than 10, 7,
Greater than 7,
at
then
that
it is
time
out.
I want to go outside the loop here, right? Here I want,
Mm-hmm.
right? Outside
Right.
of the loop.
Mm-hmm.
Let's run it. Okay, notice कि
Uh-huh.
until false, 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 false. Whenever we reach true,
8, then true. Yeah. Then when it's true,
then
then
we notice after that this loop is not going to till condition 10, right? We are
mm-hmm.
just out from here.
Out from here. Yeah.
So sometime conditionally I want our loop should be break. Break means go outside of loop. I don't want to further execute.
Mm-hmm.
So we have to apply some condition and then break code keyword. Any confusion? What is the meaning of break?
Now I got it. But there is
Yes,
in here
ask
another
question.
question arise for now it is number 11, line number 11.
Yes.
So this is just like there's a system.out.print line that inside the loop it is going to print the same as it is, and I is the value for that is the 0 to 10, right?
Yeah.
And then random number is going to print, but what is plus random is greater than 7. That's when this random number is 0 to 10, right? When it is greater than
No,
7,
no.
then it
Right.
because of that's if that's a number 12. In that
Right.
here we already mentioned that random is greater than 7. So
Hmm.
why we have been written in there that is like random is greater than 7 in here.
Yes, that is our need. Let's say I say ki, this is our requirement. I want to somehow want to break the loop. So how to test this break condition works, right?
Uh-huh.
So
Uh-huh.
might be here this information. Let's come from the third party application, right? Random number.
Right. Okay.
Might be here we are calling some third party microservice and getting some data, right? If this
Mm-hmm.
data get 400 error, right? Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
500 error something, then I
Right.
want to don't consider the further loop, right? I want to break this information can be get from anywhere, right? Maybe
Right.
from database call, maybe a third party vendor, and according to receive input you have to decide कि my loop still continue or break.
Right. Mm-hmm.
So this break is a facility which help us. This loop can be break. If we have not
Mm-hmm.
apply break, this always going to the 10 time. Anytime,
Acha.
always.
Uh-huh. Uh-huh.
So this is our need. Sometime I want. Okay?
Acha. Acha. And then
Okay?
continue means like we are going to continue
Yeah.
that.
Yes, we are
Okay.
going to discuss continue first. Any doubt with again break?
No,
What do
no,
you mean
no,
break?
no. I got it. I got it. When just like our criteria is meet,
Yeah. Yes. Whenever our loop say like I have apply loop and apply say 10 time loop go. So
then
always they
them
are printing 10 time. Okay,
right.
always.
Exactly.
Because we have a say less than 10, right? So always they
Right.
are printing 10 time. But
Uh-huh.
I don't want it. I want this is a condition should be less than 10, but I want sometime it will print all 10, sometime it will print half, sometime it will print second half, whatever it is. So
Mm-hmm.
sometime what is those time? We have to decide. So here we're
Yeah.
deciding some random number.
Right.
This
Uh-huh.
random number generates some random number and deciding this part we break or this part we break or this part we break. If you
Uh-huh.
run, might be different times we are getting the break.
Acha.
So notice in these times, we are getting till 1 to 9, all the loop, right? No
Right.
break happen.
Mm-hmm.
Because always we are getting a false, 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 right?
Right.
So sometime this my loop working 10 time, right? Again
Mm.
run and notice this run is done 2 time only
Acha.
due to this break, right? So
Mm-hmm.
this loop always, if someone read this code, say I less than 10, this means they are going to run 10 time. But this code always not run 10 times because you have written one break condition.
Exactly.
So sometime it run 2 times,
Even sometimes it is more than that.
maybe 1 time,
One time, might be 7 times, right?
mm, might be the 4, 5 times.
Right.
So depend upon your condition. Might be 2 times. So depend upon what the random number you are receiving. Right? This is the seven
Exactly.
time. So until
Hmm.
we are not getting this value greater than 7, until we are going to continue running the loop.
Running this loop. Huh.
So always you look the code, someone if apply inside this for loop, that must be in some particular condition, right? If
Mm-hmm.
condition true, that means now our compiler go from this loop, come out here, outside loop. If condition false, that means compiler from here go to the here and increase this value and check the condition and
Huh.
again loop the start the loop.
It's true.
The only option ki this is the loop. This loop is breaked by default this break condition
Right.
or
Mm-hmm.
if this condition going to the false, right? If this
Mm-hmm.
condition false, then also come our out here, right?
Right.
The two cases previously, if you're not using the break keyword, that means the only one case we are going to outside the loop until this condition is true, right?
Right.
If this false, go to outside. But break given a two option. Means ki one way from here, once this line execute, we are going to the here, or this condition going to the false, then we reach here.
Acha.
So
Acha.
now breaking this for loop, yeah, completed this for loop have a two option. One
Mm-hmm.
condition false, one condition meet here.
Right. Right. Yeah, that makes sense.
That makes
Yeah.
sense.
Yeah.
Let's look the continue part. Okay,
Mhm. Yeah.
clear?
Yeah. It is
So let's
clear.
similar program.
Mm-hmm.
Continue means don't break here. Continue means again go to the continue here.
Mm-hmm.
Let's what do you mean? So here I say we have a two line.
Mm-hmm.
Line one output and line two output. Okay?
Mm-hmm.
Okay? Two lines. Let's key I have not any break, right?
No.
If I run, that means ki they always print 20 times our one line, two line. Notice they are printing 1 2 1 2 1
Oh.
2 1 2 always,
Okay.
right?
Mm-hmm. Uh-huh.
I plus. Right. Let's I comment out this code as of now, not needed, right?
Mm-hmm.
So as of now, we are saying ki our loop always run from 0 to time, 1 2 time, 2 time, all 2 times till the
Mm-hmm.
9, right? Then
Right.
we go outside the loop, right?
Right.
So here, sometime I want to line number one execute, but don't execute line number two.
Mm-hmm.
This is the condition.
Mm-hmm.
So I take whenever our random number greater than 10, I don't want to print this line two. I want to from this condition go to again this condition. Don't print execute this line. I want to avoid this for some cases, right?
I didn't get it. Ajay.
So I'm saying ki, currently whenever this loop run, okay, this loop always run line number one, line number two. If I
Yeah.
run this code, they are always printing two line for each row, right?
That is yeah.
That is the line number one, line
Right.
number two, line
Right.
number one, line number two, line number
Uh-huh.
one, line number two, right?
Uh-huh. Uh-huh.
Always they are printing.
Right.
But I want this line two should be not go always.
Acha,
Sometime
acha.
it will print line two, sometime cannot print.
Acha, acha, acha. Okay.
Sometime
But like
condition I would say This I want always should be line number 1 printed 10 times, right?
अच्छा
But
अच्छा
this line 2, I want conditionally.
हाँ
Sometime it will print, sometime it will not print.
हाँ हाँ ये समझ गया मैंने हाँ sure
So here I am going to use continue.
continue for line number one uh-huh.
Yes. So here continue means whenever this condition true,
Sure then it is
our yes, our code not going to execute this line.
अच्छा
No. From here control go to the here I plus plus. And after this condition again going to the check, if condition true, they are going to print this line.
हाँ 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 हाँ
So whenever this condition true, at that time the further line, these lines are not going to execute by the compiler.
but in here when they're going to write it down just like from 0 to 10 0 to 9
Mm.
but like this is continuing but for number 26 we didn't put any like condition in here just like
Here we put the condition here. We put condition here. If
yeah
condition true, that means this condition continue. Whenever condition true, this line going to execute continue. A continue means from this line, from line number this, I am going to increment the condition and test the condition. I am
exactly
not going to print this further line, whatever the line written here.
oh acha. Okay
It's the
this
meaning.
one is stopping
Whenever
here
this line going to execute, the
uh-huh.
meaning of that they are saying ki now I am going to check the increment the condition and test the value for further number this.
Right yeah
So
exactly
this line going to skip.
mm-hmm.
So
Acha.
continue means ki in our for loop there are some code written, some code I want to skip. I don't want this line should be executed for a particular condition.
Mm-hmm.
Is it okay?
It is
Let's run and check the output. So here notice line 1, 2 printed. Here 1 printed, but notice 2 is not printed.
acha acha ha
Line 2 is not printed, right? Here
right
again for I, here 2 printed. Then
two
notice
printed
here for 3, 2 is
uh-huh.
not printed.
3 and 4 it is not printed huh?
There's a 4 for 4, 2 line printed. For
Uh-huh.
5, not line 2 printed, right?
5 6 and
For
7 printed
6
but
not
not
printed 2 line. For
right
7 not print for 7 2 line printed, right?
uh-huh.
7 line
Uh-huh.
1 and line 2 both. For
So,
8 only line 1 printed. For 9 both line are printed, right? So you notice always the second line number 2 is not printing.
acha
So this is the conditionally. Sometime I want both line printed and sometime I want
mm.
don't printed the both line. So continue means just don't go run this further line.
Mm-hmm.
Don't execute that.
Acha. So eventually when we are going to use this statement or you are calling
Yeah,
that okay
let's simple example.
uh,
One good example. Let's close out, right?
mm-hmm.
When say I equal to 1 semicolon I less than 10
Mm-hmm.
I plus plus. Okay,
Right
that's out. If you print I, they are printing the all the
mm-hmm.
I value, right? 1 to 10.
Right right
Here I want to only print 2,
mm-hmm.
4, 6, 8. I don't want to print 1, 2, 3, 4.
Mm-hmm.
So for some condition, I want if your I modulo 2 double
Mm-hmm.
equal to 0,
Mm-hmm.
and I can say continue.
Right
So whenever our I modulo 2, they are not going to print this number.
let me just okay you're saying when I is equal to less than 10 0 0 yeah when if I modulo 2 is equal to 0 yeah then it is continuing okay if it will go continue but it will not print after that it is going to print I is equal to but actually it is printing the I 1 to 10
Yes.
1
Yeah.
to
But notice for 1,
Mhm.
this condition false. Let me give out S
if
out.
it is 1 definitely
1. Let's give me output. Like, what is the value of this, right?
Yeah, just like I is equal to 1 by 1 divided by 2. This is not going to again continue.
Okay. Let's
Uh,
run. So notice for which value we are printing this.
uh, First number is 1. 1
So
uh,
notice here 1 false, right?
false. Right.
The false, they are going to printing this one number,
Uh-huh.
right?
That's
For number two, it is a true. True means
definitely.
continue. That
Yeah.
they are not going to print here.
That's
So let's here say odd number.
uh-huh.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
So notice here for one, it is a false. It is a false. They are
Huh.
going to print odd number, right? Odd number.
Uh-huh.
For two, it is a true. True means go to the here to continue.
Mm.
Continue means
Ah,
don't exclude this odd number. That go to the
mhm.
for next number. Next number
Mhm.
three. Three is still false. This is the false. Then go to print this number, right?
Excellent. Yeah, excellent. Yeah.
So for next number again, this is the false. They are not going
Mhm.
to print.
No, 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 no. Yeah.
It is clear. So
Huh.
here different use cases where you have to use the continue and for loop. Like here, I want to only print odd number.
Right.
So here we are printing all. We are running loop all 10 number, but
Mhm.
we are not printing all the things. We are
All good.
only printing that not this container false.
Right.
Is it continue? What do you mean by continue? Continue means until whenever this condition true,
Huh.
at that time this line going to not print.
Right.
After this line going to now print. After
Mhm.
this line going to continue for the
Acha.
next number.
Mm-hmm. समझ गए.
Any confusion? So these are the two, you can say, utility. One is the continue, another is a break,
Break. Right.
which give us option to control the looping condition. Sometime I want don't to go to the further execute the loop, or
Mm-hmm.
sometime I want to go outside of the loop.
अच्छा. हाँ.
So go to the outside of loop, we have to use the break. Okay. Sometime no, don't want to break, but I want to continue. So I'm
Right.
going to use a continue. The break is just outing the loop. Continue is again to continue. Again
Mm-hmm.
you continue working, but don't go further execute any line.
अच्छा. You're right. 100%. 100%.
So
Yeah.
these are the tools. Somewhere we can use this tool, or somewhere we cannot use. Right?
It is depends on just like what
Depend
kind of.
upon the situation.
Uh,
Like in the real life, in our home, or lots of tool are available have, right?
right.
According to the situation, some tools in the kitchen, lots of tools appliance available. Our need, we are using something, right?
अच्छा अच्छा.
Similarly, for loop, these are the some tools you want to controlling your loop, breaking, continue, right? Or don't
Right.
use if you don't want, right?
Mm-hmm.
So is it clear with respect
It,
to the break and continue?
it is clear to me now. But uh, there
Any
is
confusion
one.
still?
No, no, this is good. This is good now. Thank you, Ajay. Uh, there is the switch also. Like eventually, just like in the Java program, mostly
Okay.
are we using the switch statement or not?
Is it clear for this and for this
This one is
topic?
clear. This one is clear to me.
Uh, Riyad, you are okay? Any doubt, confusion you have?
Riyadh.
Okay, don't worry.
Mhm.
So we are good with the break and switch. Let's apply it. Okay.
Yeah, I'm
Mhm.
good.
Is it clear? Ajay was asking you.
Yeah, yeah. I had